All right, we're live, mate. What a bunch of attendees coming on board at the moment. It looks like it's a sold out event, Toby. What do you think?
It's yeah, it's making me nervous. This many people watching.
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of people watching right now. It's just like a crazy amount. It's like this thing's
Thanks,
gone viral. Looks like they,
thanks.
why it must have been your face, mate. They've seen you out on the poster. You're on the billboards.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Ignorance is bliss sometimes. So now a lot of people watching.
Yeah, I think
It's
now
good.
we know, like, what does it take to sell out a webinar? Here you are, Mr. Toby himself. Nah, it's good. Hey, I'm feeling good. I am feeling good today. How you feeling, Toby?
Very good.
Oh, mate. Like
Yeah,
I'm
ready
loving
to
life. Mate, talk to me.
ready to lift smarter.
Yeah, nah, it's good. That's what I like. Mate, Lifton, tell us about your big threes. Like, what are your big threes and your bench press, your squats, your deadlifts? Mate, talk to me.
Well, 25-ton Franna, tower crane, and maybe the 10-ton Franna as well. I can't think of
Yeah.
another crane off the top of my head.
Yeah, nice. That's good, mate. That's good. That's what I like to hear. So you're lifting big. Like, how's the year been? You've been kicking off a few goals out there, or what's talk to me, mate?
Yeah, no, it's been very busy. I mean, December's been flat out. We had Osrail last week down
Yep.
in Melbourne, so good to see a lot of our customers down there, and also some people that we're already chatting to.
Yeah,
And then
nice.
yeah, where we had a Christmas party last week.
Christmas
Good
party.
to
Mate, you
see.
didn't get
Yeah,
it.
good to see everybody from the
Yeah,
company around the country. So
yeah, you didn't get into too much trouble out there. I heard you, mate.
no,
You're a
no, no,
natural.
not at all, not at all, not at all.
No trouble.
No, no,
No
in
trouble.
bed by 9 o'clock.
In bed by 9, mate. You're responsible. What time is your flight?
I think it was 8 a.m. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, 8 a.m. Hey, mate, responsible. That was yeah. What you went out for the breakfast? You had the
yeah,
breakfast.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
nice. No, very good, mate. How you feeling? Like, mate, 2025 is pretty much done and dusted. How you feeling?
It's good. It's been a very, very successful year. I mean, we've got, the financial tool that we're going to be talking about now, specifically for the crane industry. So it's almost like working for a new company
Yeah,
with this product. So I'm excited to
yeah.
talk about it now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, nice, mate. Mate, what do you like? Tell us about your life, mate. Like, it was a big year. Like, there's been a lot of change. You've been traveling the country. Like, what's your favorite town?
Favorite town?
Yeah. Out of all of Australia and New Zealand and China.
Uh, all Look, I mean, the drive that we went up to Mount Thorley the other week was good.
Right.
Going down the back streets rather than the main highway as Google Maps took us.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was sick to see some of the mine sites around there.
yeah. Mate, what's your favorite thing about Mount Thorley, like specifically?
It was that what was it? The cafe there, because that was a massive wrap. That was
Yeah,
definitely a construction size large wrap. That one
yeah,
for
yeah.
all the miners out there.
Yeah, yeah.
They,
Mate, you
they
could
need to
feed
be fed.
mate, you could feed a bunch of World Vision children, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, mate, that's good. Mate, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. Like, so, mate, we're doing a webinar today, it looks like. Is that right?
Yep. Yep. On the crane industry.
On the crane industry. No, that's good, mate. That is good. Anyway, mate, we'll give it another minute. Just got so many people attending at the moment. Mate, the numbers just keep going off the charts. It's like crypto. It just keeps going up and up and up. What are your thoughts on that, Toby?
I don't I don't know anything about crypto, but yeah, that's good to see a lot of people joining right now.
Yeah, yeah, mate, we're ready to go. We are ready to go. So, mate, look, thanks, Toby, for the intro, mate. It's so good to catch up. It's been a big year. I've spent a lot of time with Toby, been out on the road, visiting contractors left, right, and center across the country. We've been there. We've been, speaking to a lot of contractors about challenges. And what we want to show you today is, some of the great things that we've, built out over the last few years. We've made a lot of evolution, especially in the finance side. So we'll give you a bit of an insight into that. But before we start there, Toby, mate, tell us a bit about yourself. Like, tell us about the Toby, mate. What strikes your boat? What gets you up in the morning?
Uh, uh, quoting and invoicing. That's what gets me up in the morning. Being able to process dockets in bulk and sending out invoices to our clients. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
no,
that's what I get up for in the morning.
mate, he loves an invoice. This
Yeah,
Toby, they call him Mr. Invoice himself. So.
yeah.
Mate, we're in some good hands today. And before we get into the webinar, we want to show you, we want to talk to you a bit about some of the challenges we've experienced, like why you should trust us overall as a platform. Go through the demo. If you've got questions, definitely jump into the Q&A. Like this is the hot seat out here. So, pump us with the questions. We'll get Toby in the middle there. We'll make him sweat as well, ask some tricky ones. But yeah, maybe to get us started before we jump into the actual demo, the live demo, let's talk about some of the challenges that we're experiencing today. So, you're probably the better person to answer as well, Toby. But like some of the things that I've seen, especially speaking to, customers, non-customers across the board, like there's all these issues with just getting, visibility of the field, where all their assets and equipment are, maybe trying to connect the dots between the office and the field, especially with, lost dockets happening, lost paperwork, all these forms, like they just get lost in the mix. So what we want to show you today is a bit about, how we can help those challenges, how we address the challenges of missed documentation, missed dockets, how you can connect the field to the office, and pretty much how you guys can use like this whole buzzword of AI to fully automate everything from payroll to invoicing to job costings, you name it, we've got it. So it's a full solution. We'll show you today a bit about how it all works. And without any further ado, Toby, mate, let's jump in. Let's rock and roll.
Awesome.
Mr. Invoice.
Mr. Invoice. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna check on my screen share. You can see that, Frank. Yep.
Yeah, it's mate, everyone can see it's good.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so I just wanted to start here. So there'll be different personalities that will have involvement in different areas of our platform. So let me hide my meeting. There we go. Um, so I'm just going to start with this side. So this is where a lot of the building out for invoicing, for quoting, and then processing your dockets or your timesheet. So just from this page, just want to point out we've got Milo bot in here. So this is an AI agent that you can use just to communicate and ask it questions on some of the data that's going on with your system. So if I just open up this conversation that I had with the agent, I was just curious around like when does our overtime start based off some of the documents I've already brought in. Yeah. And also like, how do we, when do we pay a meal allowance? So these are some of the questions that you can ask the agent rather than being, somebody that's that expert in the company. Basically, everyone can quiz this and just get the answers that they need based off the information. Yeah. You'll also be able to pull out reports from here. So building, getting it to pull data from your system and build. I think one of the keywords that said was some pie charts in there. So this, yeah, this is your own resource. Essentially, it's another employee and an expert in your system and your data.
Hey Toby, you've got a question here. Like, talk to us about, the AI. So, pretty much what they're asking is, why should they use this AI agent Milo instead of, generic chat GPT? Like, tell us about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so we've specifically trained it in the construction industry. So I think there's about like 6 to 7 different agents that will pop in and out of these question of this based off the questions that you ask. So there'll be like one specific for health and safety, one for finance, one for the other ones that I can't think of right now. But you won't notice it jumping in between. You'll just ask it specific questions on of what you've got for your job, and then that will then come in and ask that. I think with a lot of if you were just using ChatGPT, that would just be a very broader use. So you would really have to sort of train it, again, every time you have that conversation. So this is how we sort of build it, just to make sure that it's not, going outside of its scope.
Yeah, nice. So you're saying overall, like, obviously it's going to save customers a bunch of time, money trying to build out their own GBT agent. This thing knows the industry, it knows the your documentation or your policies. Think of it as like an extra headcount as well. So in your business, you want to get some staff, you're struggling with finding good talent these days, pump it into Milo. It's really powerful.
Awesome. Cool. Well, look, I'll shift across to our schedule of rates. So this is for, we are talking about the crane industry. So a lot of their jobs are, hiring out hourly and invoicing for those hours in there. So I've uploaded my SOR to the global site. So this is basically for all of my customers, but I can add in multiple SORs based off like the client or the project. So, your list might eventually be, 20 or 30 long in here, and that would have the specific dollar amounts for that client and that project. So specifically for this one, I've uploaded just a document, and I'll just open it up here. This is just an example that I've chucked in here, and it's for a company that I've made up. So, maybe in the comments, tell me if I'm undervaluing my crane company that I've made up here. But this is just what I've uploaded to it. So it just goes through, all the different equipment that we can hire, the hourly rate, what our minimum hires are, and some of the rules around like early start. So if we do have a job that's before 7 a.m., then we're going to charge 1.5 X. There's also just some language in here around like our usual start times, meal allowance, travel, mobilization, etc. So what AI will do is go and read that document, and then it will start building out the rules for it to understand how to treat a docket or a timesheet. So this is what AI has done. It's built all those rules. It's gone base rate $200, applies for all regular hours and for an 8-hour shift. That's then gone through and created all those roles. And if I scroll further down, there'll also be some special conditions around mobilization, for standard hours, for overtime, for travel, all that. So AI has gone and built this already. I can still edit this information or add some stuff in if I need to, but AI has gone through and read that document, and it's completed that. So the format that you need to upload, it just needs to be, well, it could be anything now. So PDF, Excel, all that. So you can just upload that to here, and AI will go through and read that.
So you're telling me, Toby, just with the AI interpretations, like obviously this is a pretty generic scheduler rates out here, but does it also work for, client specific rates, job
Mhm.
specific, the little nitty gritties of it all?
Yeah, absolutely. So you will just upload every SOR that you've got for all of your client specific. What the system will then do is when it sees a docket or a timesheet, it'll first check, do I have an SOR for that client or that project? So yeah, so I've just got one in here, and it's just my global rate, but you'll have like, 10 or 15 different rates in here. Um, cool. Awesome. For payroll, it payroll sort of works the same way for like all your EBAs. So this is for paying your staff, and it's the same process. You'll upload your various EBAs, and that can be again project specific, client specific, or just your general award that you've got there. And again, it reads through that document, and then builds out the necessary rules to treat timesheets. So ordinary hours, overtime, Monday, weekends, all that information. So again, you can upload your 60-page EBA directly here, and it'll go through and define. It'll basically go through and build all the rules for it to understand how to treat a timesheet. So, what do I do if I see a 10-hour timesheet? Then it will know what to do. Yeah. Cool. So after you've got everything uploaded, what you can then start doing is then building your quotes in here. So I have already generated a quote for this demo, but you can just do it quite simply from either some templates, so some very common jobs that you quote for, or there can be some assemblies which can be like bunches, like little templates that you want to bring in together. So for me to create a quote, I just simply go create quote. I then title it whatever I need it to be. So Franna, 15 ton. I then choose the client and the project it's going to be based off of. And then I also then just choose the SOR that I want to do it for. So what this will then do is bring in all those rates that we created. And then now I can actually add specifically what I need for this quote. So there's two ways that you can do it. You can either do it kind of a la carte, like I can expand all these different rates that I showed you in here and just start typing, I need 8 units of base rate and build the quote like that. Or I can just describe what I want up in here and type it out, and AI will then go and build the quote for it. This can be two ways you can do it. It can either just be probably from the email from the client that says, hey, I need this for this job, and you can just paste it in here, or you can just start typing it out. So I need, Franner, I need a 20-ton Franner for 2 days with two uh, riggers. I've then just typed that in. It's then going to start building my quote for me based off the information in here. And there we go. So now I've got my Franner for 16 hours and then two riggers for 16 hours as well. I can still edit this. So maybe I want to add, a demob or something like that, or I might need to change this information or add something else in. But essentially, you can just describe what you need. AI will then go and generate that quote, and then you can just add that in there, and we can start that quote. So
Perfect. So you're
awesome.
telling me, Toby, you can like, copy emails from your clients, just copy it, paste it, dump it straight into the quoting tool, and then
Yeah,
that'll, obviously read it, do the quote, build it out, and then you can, send it to the clients, get it to win the job.
yeah, absolutely. Yep, yep. It's just it's just an AI prompt. So you can paste, a short description of what you want, and it will go in, based off the SOR, build it to what it needs to be.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's a bit about the finance. I will focus now a bit on health and safety, a bit about scheduling, what that looks like, just to get some of this information out to the guys on site, and then we'll loop it all back to generating invoices, processing pays, and so on. So Toby, you're doing a good job.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. I needed that, Frank. Thank you. Cool. Yeah. So that's the quote. You've sent it off to the client. They've approved it. So what you'll then start doing is then building out the job. So I've already allocated, the 25-ton Franner, the dogman, and the rigger for this. And I've also submitted a docket pre demo for yesterday's date. But for me, I also then need to just extend the job. So we've got a call from the client saying, hey, we need you for an extra day. I can then just simply click and drag this to the next day. And then I can say, oh, do I want to, bring everything across from the previous day? No, I do need to actually make some adjustments. So I'm just going to remove these people because I don't think they're actually available there. Or I've actually got Frank with me that's going to be my rigger. So after that's been done, I can then start allocating the resources for it, just because I know that this friend is not available and Jason and John are actually going to a job on another day. So for me, I just need to highlight the actual day that I'm allocating. My list of resources, just do a quick refresh, and it's giving me the people that are available, that are compliant, that are inducted, that work for you guys on Tuesdays. It's essentially doing a series of background checks to go, who can I allocate just for this individual day on that thing? And I'll just sort of demonstrate it here. I can also highlight like multiple days and allocate that way. And again, the same thing happens. It's checking every single day, giving me the people that are compliant. What it will also do is, if you look here, it also gives me the people that are, how far they are away from, their address that they live in, plus also the address in on the project here. So again, I might not want to allocate Jason because he's 1,200 kilometers away. I'll allocate somebody else. I'll go
So
across to my
Toby,
asset list. Oh, sorry.
hey, Toby, just before you allocate it there as well, just got one question. Sorry to keep you off track there, but just about quoting. So, just about like customization to the quote. So, at the moment, obviously you showed us like the hourly breakdown of the quotes.
Mhm.
We've got a customer at the moment. They're looking at potentially having like a breakdown day by day. So, say like it's a 14-day job overall. They
Mhm.
want the quote to show like a day-to-day breakdown of each day on the quote. Is that something that's possible at the moment, or?
it's something that's on our roadmap, definitely to having that available. There's a lot of work going on for quoting. So yeah, we're definitely looking to expand that.
Nah, awesome. Keep it going.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. So I'm just going to go across to my asset list. So I did allocate the 25 Frana, but I actually need to allocate my 25 and sorry, 25 and 2 Frana. That again will come back to my worker because there might be some extra qualifications they might need to operate this specific one. But then I just simply click and drag. Oh, sorry, let me find my name in there. Toby. I then just click and drag myself in there, and I've now allocated myself to that job. And then you just repeat that step for the other two. So I don't need a piece of equipment in here. I just need somebody to fill this job. So I'm just going to find you, and then I'm going to find Frank in here as well. Cool.
And then just on that as well, Toby, is there a way to like, show day night shifts? Do you have the ability to customize? Obviously this one here looks like a day shift, but say for example, tomorrow might be a night shift. Is there any ways of doing that? And yeah,
Yeah,
what does it look
yeah. So this is all controlled in the scheduling piece. So I just set the job from 7 till 3. But if I need to make adjustments and say changes this third day to a night shift, I can then just make those adjustments on the fly. So PM, AM, PM, AM, and then save that. And that whole day has now been switched to a different to a night shift. And you've even got the little symbol there just to highlight that it is a night shift in there. Cool. So this job's live. Everyone, people would have got a notification that they've been allocated to that job. They've got all the details involved in it. So I'm just going to switch across just to the app and just show filling out the docket and capturing those hours. So if I just come across to here, so this is the mobile app. So this is what the people out in the field will have access to. This is where they'll see all of their jobs. They'll be able to see any other jobs that I'm on. So each blue dot here represents they're allocated to another job. And I can also see like how many hours I've worked so far today. So I've worked 21 hours on Monday. It's not ideal, but here's that job that I just allocated to. So I'm on the 25. I'm 25 ton Franna, and this is my Franna that I'm on. I can see there's two other people on this job, and there's also that piece of equipment in there. And then down here is essentially my checklist of things that I need to do. If I open up this job, I can see more detail, work order numbers, PO numbers, any attachments that might be in here as well, and also a job sheet that I need to complete for invoicing. So now if I just complete that, if I just start my job sheet, I can then bring in the two people that I'm allocated with and then get this information signed. So here are our times, 7 till 3. If they need to make adjustments, they can just click the time and change it. And if I scroll further down, here's everybody else that's on the job. And then you can just fill out any other extra details that you need. So yeah, we did some heavy things. I can then get that signed by the client. So Frank is going to be my client for today. He signs like that. And that's captured the docket for that day, which will then come back to you guys in the office, and we can then start processing that for invoicing piece. So I can see that I've done my 2 dockets for my 2 days, and I'm complete and ready to go for that.
And just talk to us a bit about it, Toby, just in terms of like maintenance, so health and safety forms, you might need to do like a crane checklist or a pre-start. Do
Mhm.
we have that available? Like, can you track, maintenance services, regos, and so on?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so you'll have a form section in here, so they can complete a daily plant inspection checklist. So me as the operator, I need to do one each day. So this is just a form that we have in our system. It kind of follows in line with what we've seen in the industry. So I can capture the hours for this piece of equipment. I can then go through my checklist of things that I need to walk around and check. So check the cabin, checked the windscreens, check the electrical system. I can see there's some exposed wires, so I'm going to put a fault identified down there. Because I actually answered that question with a fault identified, you can then build logic where it opens up or expands to two or four more questions, or however many questions you need to capture. So because I answered that, it's now opened up a text field, and I can provide a bit more detail. So exposed lives in there, and I can also add some photos for it. And then you just keep going through these questions. Now, you can make all these questions mandatory, which a lot of our customers do. Just for this demo, I don't make them mandatory because we'll be here until 1 o'clock if I have to answer all these questions. So we'll just skip through this. But if I do try to submit it without answering a certain question, it'll then prompt me that I need to sign off on that. But that's me now done. So I've now done my pre-start. I've done my docket. I've already got some timesheets already in there. All that data is now back, in the dashboard. So if I come back to my timeline piece, and I open up my activity feed, here's that little daily plan inspection checklist that we just completed, and I can see it came back with a needs action. If I open it up.
And what about Toby? Like, obviously, you're bringing that up there, and that's assuming you got service on your phone, you got reception. We just got a
Mhm.
question here about like if the guys they're in a remote area, there's no service, no signal. What happens then in that case?
Yeah, so just automatically it'll go in and out of offline mode. So you're still able to access the app, complete forms, complete timesheets. What will happen is it will just sit locally on the device until you come back into, I think it's like 1 bar of reception, right? I think it's something minimal. But as soon as you then come into reception, all that data will then be sent straight away to your system. Yeah, so you still have access to the functionality. It'll just sit locally until you come back into reception.
Yeah, perfect. And then just talk to us a bit about, so you've done the pre-start, like just keeping track of, service intervals. So you recorded the number of hours there.
Mhm.
Do our customers get notified of when, maintenance is due or services are due, regos and so on?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of basically all of the things like worker profiles and asset profiles, you'll have the ability to attach all the documentation that you need to track against them. So up here, there's some you can see. I mean, this is our sales demo, so we're not the best at keeping up on our tickets. But if I expand this, here is all the tickets that are expired for the individual. So I've got my excavator license expired, got my driver's license expired as well. So that's just on the worker level, but then you've also got the asset. So this is where you can track like rego, services, insurances, all of that. And there's sort of two ways that you can do it. It's either like a date expiry. Sorry, there's three ways you can do it. There's a date expiry. There's a number expiry, so like an hour or kilometers expiry, or you can do a date and a number expiry. And then depending on which one comes first, if the date expires, then that will trigger the form, trigger the document. Or if, when I filled out that form, I answered 2,500 in that, that will then trigger that it needs to go into the service. Cool. So I'll shift back to the financial side. So if I come across to here, I can see that I've already imported that docket that I did yesterday. I've already processed it as well. But if I now just import my last dockets, so if I set that to this date, I can then just fetch the last docket that I completed. So it's just this one here. So just almost immediately we can get that data into our system and then start processing it. So a lot of the actions that I'm going to be going through right now, we don't need to watch this complete. We just need to set it to go. AI will then go and start processing that information. And I just need to come back and check that it's okay. So if you have 10 or 20 different dockets already in here, I can just highlight in bulk and then just process them straight away. Or if you want to just do it on an individual level in here, you can. So essentially, the idea being is, previous day or the next day, I can import all of my dockets. I can then highlight every single one and then hit process, and then that will then start working. So I don't need to watch this. I can go off and do something, some other sort of admin task like I'm doing right now. So I'm just now starting it. I can now close it, come back, or do something else while that's processing. Usually takes around, I mean, we're seeing sort of 30 to 30 seconds to a minute for it to go. It's getting a lot faster as well. But again, I don't need to watch this work. I can go off and start processing, timesheets as well, which is what I've done here. So Again, same thing. I can just go apply pay rates, choose the week that I'm running. That will then start processing all those timesheets for that week run. And what you'll start seeing is, I processed this one today. So if I open up what this has done, so it's a 24 hours worth of time. I had the Franner, I had the Dogman, I had the Rigger. AI has then gone and matched that to the SOR that I've got uploaded, and it's broken it up into the different hours. So we didn't exceed any overtime hours. So it was just all normal time. And then I've got my rates for the Franner, it was 220 bucks times by 8. That's then given me 1760 just for that Franner. And I've got my Dogman, I've got my Rigger. They're both paid at the same. We invoice for both the same $95. As you go further down, you can then start seeing the reasoning as to how Milo came to that conclusion. So it's basically gone through. Yep, it was a Monday. Each worked 8 hours between these hours. There was no night shift. There was no weekends, no holidays. There was no breaks deducted. It's also brought in the rate, and it's basically just giving you the reason that you can just double check, like, hey, has it come to the right conclusion in there? Now, if I do refresh that, my docket from that I just processed would have been completed. It's already been done there. So yeah, so I've got my two dockets I've got my docket that I did yesterday and already processed. I've got my docket that I've imported just then, completed about like 5 minutes ago, and I've already processed that with the same uh, SOR. Cool.
And then just got a question here, Toby, just about like, obviously there's a bit of reasoning there as well, but how can you trust it? How do you know it's accurate? Like should you trust it? Should you not trust it? Like what are your thoughts on that?
Look, I mean, I I think what we're wanting to do is shift away from getting into the weeds of processing this information and turning it into more of a reviewer of it. So rather than somebody being bogged down with needing to break up these hours, check the documents, come back and make sure it's the right project and how I added the right information, I then just need to see how it's come to that conclusion. So I'm now just reviewing information here. So we don't um, yeah, we don't want you to be bogged down in the weeds looking through this. We just want you to start reviewing information and make sure it's all okay, all okay. From the billable units, you can still make adjustments to this information. So what I've done right now isn't the final copy before sending it to invoice. If I come across to the billable units and move over to dockets, here are all those individual line items here that we've processed. So if you do need to make adjustments, maybe there's some sort of handshake agreement between a client, like we don't actually invoice for this amount, or maybe we charge them more. I can just simply double tap on the actual rate and just increase this to 300. But I'll keep it as 220 because I want to keep it in line with my quote. But I can still make adjustments on the fly. So again, just double clicking on the rates, maybe want to increase that to 9 hours worth of work in there. So we essentially just want to increase your productivity just so you can then start reviewing information rather than getting into the weeds of the data entry. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, look, if I switch across to timesheets, so this is the part of where we're paying our staff. So the rates are a little bit less, but it does the same thing as what I just went through. So it's gone and found the EBA relevant for it. So it's found my Crane EBA. It's seen that it's a 9-hour timesheet, and if I scroll down, it's broken it up into the necessary hours. So it's given 8 hours of regular, 1 hour of overtime. And if I scroll further down, again, it's giving me all the reasoning as to how it came to that conclusion. And if I point out the right one, meal allowance here. So meal allowance didn't apply because in our rules, we actually pay meal allowance at 1.5 hours of overtime. So there again, no extra allowances are added in there. But if you do have side allowances, all that information, it'll then go and see that this is the necessary project where I need to build an allowance in there. So again, we can then just review the information. I can make adjustments. So if you see here, I can actually change, split these hours up if I need to. But we can help there. And then probably the final thing which we do with our customers is just making sure that the output matches your accounting system. So we just sort of define it as regular time and overtime, but you've got the ability to select the specific cost code. So if your code is, I don't know, ordinary hours base or base one, whatever sort of code you use, we can then match that for the final export, and then you can import that into your accounting system in there. All right, so let me switch across just to the invoicing part. So I've already added that first docket that we completed into this invoice, and I'm just going to add some more. So if I wrong click, so I just need to add that extra docket that we just processed. So if I go add from docket, here's that one that we just did. So if I go increase, I can see that these things haven't been invoiced. I can also then just show ones that have. If I go, great, let's create those lines. That's then added the extra days worth of dockets. I've then got a total of 1710. If you remember very back of this webinar, if I come back to my quote, that was we quoted for 1710. So now we can turn wrong one. So that's now sort of completed that circle. I can then there's sort of two ways that people pivot in this area. Is you can then send this invoice from Assignar, and there will be a client. There is a client portal for your clients to log in and view the dockets, view the invoices, and start communicating. If they're happy with it or if they need to make some adjustments. Or we can then send this data to your accounting system, and you can create the invoice there with all of this data in there. But essentially, that's the workflow. We've quoted the job, we've captured the dockets, and I've now invoiced it within I don't know how long was that demo, right? 20.
Yeah,
I
not
can do
too
it a lot
long.
quick. I can do it. I can do it a lot quicker if I wasn't speaking. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
sort of
if
the
I didn't
process.
ask too many, if I didn't interrupt
Yeah.
you too many times, there you would have done it a lot faster.
Yeah. I think I've raced myself a few times. I'm almost down to sort of 5 minutes of like building the quote, allocating the resources, doing the docket, and then getting it to an invoice. So yeah.
Yeah. And think about that in bulk as well. So like, obviously this is only one invoice here, one quote, but especially, things are moving constantly. You're on the phones non-stop. Like hopefully you can see as well, like, doing all this in bulk. So quoting in bulk, pump out your, hundreds or so of invoices per month, do all your payroll in one go. And yeah, like Toby said earlier, it's more just checking, making sure it's all correct, do your reviews and you're good to go.
Awesome. Cool.
Awesome. Toby, we've got a couple of questions here for you.
Mhm.
Um, so just in terms of the guys out on site, like is it can they access like documentation, plans, lifting plans, all of that as well on their phones, or is it like should they rely on paper right now? What's the
No, that's all accessible from the mobile app. So you'll give permissions to who sees needs to see what from the app, so you can give access to all the assets to some, maybe your maintenance crew and the operators, plus all your documents. So you can have all your policies around drug and alcohol policy and all that accessible from the phone as well.
Yep. Can the guys like also get access to their own tickets? Like, do they have to carry hard copy tickets with them, or like you say, they need to show the clients their licenses and tickets, inductions, and so on? Is that possible on the phone app there? Or
Yeah. So same thing. So all of your qualifications will be accessible. So all of the photos or PDF that you've sent in or uploaded yourself will be accessible. Plus all your inductions as well. From the app, if your say driver's license does expire, you can upload that via the app for the office just to approve. So you can do all this yourself.
Yep, perfect. Got another question here. What about like policies, documentation, work health safety procedures, having those available to the guys out on site? Like, do we have like a document storage option available for the guys or?
Sorry, I was reading the question in there. I was
Is that a
following
mine?
you.
He's been on a
Yeah.
few webinars today, so that's okay. We'll cut him some slack. But can the guys see like policies, documentation, work health safety procedures? Can they see that on the app at all? Like they need access to it?
Yeah. So that it depends. So sort of what I said before is you upload that document to your system and then you give access to who needs to see it. So you've got control over that information. So yeah, all of your policies, health and safety regulations, or like really just anything that you need to have visibility out on the site, you can upload that to your dashboard and give access, and they'll have visibility on the mobile phone. But,
Yep. Perfect. And we don't have to go into too much detail on this, but in terms of reporting, like say you want to track metrics, incident reporting, utilization, safety metrics, and so on, like is that
mm.
also something that could be completed or achieved?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So essentially everything that I went through there, it's all data that you can report on. So all that allocation information that I did, so you can see like forecasted versus actuals, all the forms that gets submitted, you can build reports on that. I've had customers build HSCQ dashboards based off like an incident form that they have people filling out when things do happen. So yeah, you can, yeah, it's all of your data. Like again, just everything in there is reportable. So yeah, short answer, yes.
Yeah, everything and anything. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Just quickly having a look. Any other final questions? Just in terms of scheduling, can it be done out on site? Like, do you have to be on a computer, logging around your laptop, or is it something possible through your phone, through the app?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we do have mobile scheduling. So you can create jobs, allocate resources as well. It really is just sort of a lighter version of like the dashboard. And it really is just to like let me either move people around to different jobs because it's rained out, or I need to just quickly create a job because someone's called me on the phone. You can do that from the mobile out in the field.
Yep. Perfect. So yeah, looks like that's all the questions there. But yeah, if you're interested, you want to see a bit more about it, also how it can work with your specific examples. We can build that into the demo. If you want to test it out, you're more than welcome to. You can test it out. We can get you access to the app and see how it goes with you. But yeah, feel free to scan the QR code. You'll have the pleasure of meeting up with Toby again. So hopefully he didn't put you to sleep today. But he's a smart guy. He knows the industry. He's rolled it out to how many customers today, Toby? What, 400, 500, 600? What
Yeah.
do we
Yeah.
talk?
You lose count after so many. But yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. So he's done a lot. He's been around the block a few times, back and forth. So yeah, he knows what he's talking about. But yeah, in terms of seeing the product, reach out to us. More than happy to show you a bit about it. But yeah, overall, Toby, that's pretty much done for today. But mate, what's your quote to finish us off for the year? Put it on the spot here.
My quote for the day is the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today.
Yep, no, he's prepared. He must
Yeah.
have written that down on a little post-it note.
Yeah, I remember from last webinar you put me on the spot, Frank. So I've got a quote
Yeah,
just up on the screen here.
yeah, nice. Well, no, thanks guys for coming on board. Like I said again, hopefully Toby didn't put you to sleep, but no, he's done well. He's gonna stick around for the next webinar as well next year. So he's kept his job just enough for next time. But who knows? We might find someone better looking next time. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it wouldn't be hard for that one. Yeah,
All good. Thanks, Toby. Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Enjoy the rest of the year, and let's looking forward to a killer 2026.
thanks guys.
Thank
See ya.
you. Cheers.